Praise be Jesus Christ, and welcome back, dear friends. So we reached our fifth meeting, and this is the last meeting before the ceremony of consecration. And at the end of this catechesis, I will give you all the instructions that you will need for the ceremony of next Sunday, day of Pentecost. Last time, if you remember, we tried to see the Eucharistical ecclesial dimension of our faith, and so our consecration to Mary. So we said that a soul that is truly Marian, so it means giving our disponibility, availability to Mary, and also imitate her virtues, so the faith, humility, purity, patience, and prayer. So the more a soul becomes Marian, the more it will become Eucharistical, because Mary also have to form Jesus into us through the Holy Spirit. So she predisposes us and our souls, and she purifies our souls so that the Holy Spirit can find a fertile field so that we can reach the full maturity in Christ, as St. Paul said. To be Christ, to live in us, and not us living. So in this way, Mary will make us do a very deep experience of Jesus among us. And so that's why last time we talked so long about Eucharist. And so the presence of Jesus with his soul, his body in the Eucharist. We also said that who loves Mary also loves the Eucharist, not because only they believe in the Eucharist, they receive the Eucharist, they celebrate the Eucharist, but moreover because they live the Eucharist. This is the Eucharistical soul, the soul that lives the Eucharist. And living the Eucharist means offer ourselves for Christ in Christ with Christ, as Jesus did, and we are called to do the same. So in every moment of our day, we have to offer our prayers, our joy, and our sufferings with Christ, for Christ, and in Christ, and so participate to this very great work, worshipping God, our Lord, and also celebrate the fraternal communion. So I have to put my effort to be an alive cell in the body of the Church. I put my effort to participate, to form, to share the groups of prayer for the new Pentecost to come again. Because the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary will coincide with a new Pentecost, with the coming back of Jesus in all the hearts, and with the beginning of a historical period of peace as never knew before. This is what Our Lady is announcing us, and since all of us want this new world, even if it seems that Our Lady is asking us some simple things, we, with our daily rosary, with our participation of the prayer groups, with the participation of the Christian communion, and with the forgiveness of sin, and also with the confession of the sin, will participate to this triumph of her Immaculate Heart. So today we'll start with this expression, triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, because you understand that Our Lady does not use nonsense terms or meaningless terms. She doesn't talk about supremacy of her Immaculate Heart, but she talks about triumph. And this word triumph means something very great. big. And let's understand that if there is a triumph to one side, at the other side there will be someone that will be triumphantly beaten. Of course, how can I win something if I didn't do a competition? Clearly, if I do a competition, I will be first if I beat someone else. So, I repeat myself, if Our Lady will triumph, someone else will be beaten. But if we have to talk about this defeat and this triumph, we need to talk about this competition. Actually, we need to talk about this war. So, to talk about this and to understand what we are going to talk about today, I want to bring you the message of Our Lady of the 2nd of October 1991. In that occasion, Our Lady said, "Dear children, be you all the army of God. The hour of darkness is coming upon humanity, but the evil is fearing the angel's greeting that you pronunciate repeatedly with the Hail Mary. So he fears my presence. For this, I ask you to be with me. Dear children, the misfortune would be already here if some good souls wouldn't have prayed. Pray then, and I will be with you. I bless you all." So in this message we have all the things we need. So there is an army of God, and it is conducted by Mary. And this army of God is having a war with the army of the evil. And what is the weak spot of this army of the evil? Is the Hail Mary of the angel Gabriel. This is the weak spot. And this weak spot will make the army of the evil to be beaten by the army of God. And nowadays Mary is extraordinarily present in the Church with all her apparitions, lacrimations, and so on. And her extraordinary presence and the presence of all the people that will follow her is the weak spot of the army of the evil. So, in this way, Our Lady is asking us to be with her, to be her army and God's army. So this is why we're doing this consecration. And I will repeat myself again. The problem is not the day of Pentecost, the day of the consecration. The problem is the day after Pentecost. Our Lady is asking us to stay with her, to remain there, to pray with her, because we are the army of Our Lady. And also this message ended up with a hope sentence. The misfortune would be already here, and we don't know which misfortune, but she says this misfortune would be already here, probably the realizations of the third secret of Fatima, if some souls, some very good souls, wouldn't have prayed the Holy Rosary. So most of the time we think that our prayer had no any meaning, it doesn't help, and so on. But this is not true. Every prayer is not lost. Even if we don't obtain what we want to have, all our prayers are not lost, and they will triumph with the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So this battle that Our Lady is talking to us about is not a battle that she invented in that date in 1991, because this battle is also present in the Bible, in the Genesis and Apocalypse, in these two books, one that starts the story and the one that finishes the story. So the story in the Bible starts with a battle and finishes with the triumph of Our Lady. So let's have a look to these two episodes in the Bible. So, in the Genesis, I think you remember, it is written about a woman who stepped on the head of the snake and smashed it with her heel. We need to remember that in the Jewish culture, the woman didn't have so much importance. She didn't have any right. So it's very strange that in the book of the Genesis, it is talking about a woman smashing the head of the snake with her heel. And why the heel? Because the heel represents the thing, actually, one of the parts that are the most insignificant of the human body. Who knows the biblical symbolism? For the Jewish idea of the body parts, the heel is one of the most insignificant parts. So a woman that has not so much importance step on the head of the evil, of the snake. And also in the symbolism, the head resembles the intelligence. So we can basically translate it as this. The humility of Mary through her heel will always win the superb head of the snake, so of the evil. So the Son, through the humility of Mary, will win the pride of the evil. And who is the heel of Mary? We are the heel of Mary. The consecrated to Mary are the heel of Mary. We are nothing compared to Mary. We are her heel. We also need the aesthetics for our heel, but she will need us and she will use us to win the pride of evil. So in the 12th chapter of the Apocalypse, it is written about a woman. So the sun represents the power of God. And these 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel. And also represents the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So this woman, the mother of the New and Old Testament, she has also the moon under her feet. Why the moon? Because the moon represents something that changes a lot. So not trustable. Indeed, the moon changes her face very often. Sometimes it's 3/4, sometimes it's full, empty. So this again, in the Jewish symbolism, the moon represents something that changes a lot. And indeed, we also say this, a person that changes his mood very often, we say that that person is a lunatic, from moon, luna. So this moon represents something that is not trustable, the mortality. And so this woman, Our Lady on the moon, represents that this woman dominates everything that is mortal, everything that is not trustable, and is already a sign of victory. So this woman is in a moment of weakness because she's about to give birth. And what is Our Lady giving birth today? She is giving birth with her Immaculate Heart to a new Pentecost, to a new period of peace and justice. This is what Our Lady is giving birth to today. In front of her, always in the 12th chapter of the Apocalypse, there's a very big red dragon that wants to eat the newborn. The red dragon in the Apocalypse is described as very huge, and we have to compare it with the snake in the Genesis. So what do we have to understand here? That the level of the evil will reach in the Apocalypse, so in the end of the world, a huge expression. And who can beat this red dragon that want to eat the newborn? And so the newborn means the salvation project that passed through the woman. The newborn is brought to the heaven, and he's destined to reign to all the nations. So the plan is realized, and the dragon, the evil, loses. But before going to hell, with a tail movement, he brings a third of the stars to hell. So this means that the battle will be a very, very bad battle. And this third of the stars doesn't mean that actually a third of the star will fall in the hell. This third of the stars represents something else. I don't know if you ever heard that sentence from Siracid or Proverbs, where it is written, "The wise men will shine like stars for the eternity." The wise will shine like stars for the eternity. So the stars the Apocalypse is talking about are the wise people. So also a third of the wise people of God will be bring into hell with the evil. Even if Mary, Our Lady, will triumph with her Immaculate Heart during the battle, even a third of the wise people of God will be brought to hell because deceived by evil. Pay attention, not because the evil is stronger than God or has more power than God, but because these people got defeated by evil. They let the evil defeating them. So God and the Mother won together. So why did I tell you all these things? Because who get consecrated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary has to take part to the battle. And the evil, and we know that evil is not an invention, but it actually exists. He has not limitless powers, but he exists, and he is powerful anyway. So the evil knows perfectly the power of the consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And you also know that if we get consecrated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, we are lost for him. We cannot get defeated by him. And also, if through our testimony, through our perfume, other people will get attracted to the consecration, well, evil doesn't like this. So, the evil will try to tempt us and to bring us out of the right direction. So, let's pay attention to this. I will tell you something very important. The evil exists, but he has no power on our life, on our death, because we are baptized and we did the confirmation. So only God has power on us, and evil has no power on us unless we consecrate ourselves to him. Of course, evil has a certain, let's say, freedom to interfere with our lives, and he's very good at it. And how does he do it? Through temptations. We all know what temptations are, because every day we have some sort of temptation. And in which way he will try to do this? As I said, through temptation. But we don't have to fear it. We have all the weapons that I already mentioned, like the rosary, like the group prayers, like the consecration. And how does he try to do this? What is the aim of the evil? It is in the same word, evil, diavolo. The word evil, diavolo, comes from the ancient Greek word diaballo, that means dividing. So he, through the temptation, would try to divide us from God and divide us from Mary, so that we don't live our consecration and we won't bring fruit to it. And also he will try to divide me from other people, from other Catholics, so that we cannot live our fraternal communion. And how will he try to tempt us as we consecrate ourselves to the Immaculate Heart of Mary? Through many temptations during this consecration. But don't worry, when you have a temptation during this process of consecration, you just know that it's him. So just pay attention to it. So he, during the consecration, usually tries to suggest many doubts, like, are you sure you want to do this consecration? Are you sure you're ready to do this consecration right now in this moment of your life? Do you really think that it is worth it to do it now? Well, dear friends, remember that God came toward us. So Jesus Christ, the Son of God, through his redemption, through his incarnation, he put himself under us to make us closer to God, to give us the maximal confidentiality with God. So he made us worthy of God. He made us worthy of calling Abba, Father. And God gives us all his love, and if we respond to his love, we are saved. So, are we worthy to do this consecration? Are we really, really ready to do this? We don't have to think about us, because it's not us doing it. It's Our Lady calling us. She will make us worthy of it. Indeed, why didn't we do this consecration 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years ago? Well, because Our Lady called us today. She called us this year, and she perfectly knew it. She would call us in this period today. So, dear friends, I tell you again, I'm preparing this consecration till 25 years. And I tell you, I know this. You are coming here now, in this moment, because she called you here now. Because she knows that you are ready to do it. And you would say, well, actually I came here because one friend told me, or because I saw some paper written on it about the consecration. Well, no, dear friends. It's not because of this. It's because Our Lady called you. And she didn't call you yesterday. She won't call you tomorrow, but she calls you today. So we are not worthy. We are not worthy, but God calls us. Our Lady calls us, and they make it worthy of it. We all are sinners, and we sin today, and we are going to sin even tomorrow. So, what's the point of doing this consecration? Dear friend, God doesn't get angry if we sin. She gets really angry if we don't stand up again and we try not to sin. So the problem comes when you sin and then you don't stand up again and you don't repair and you still do the same sin again and again and again without trying not to sin. So if you do not try to stand up again and to repair your sin, it is like you mistrust in God. And this is the real problem. So you fall, stand up. You fall again, then stand up again. As I already said, the problem comes when you fall and then you don't stop and stand up anymore. So it is you yourself that make yourself not savable. So what does a mother when her children fall down? She comes and she helps them. And Our Lady is doing the same for us. So she comes and she wants to help us standing up again. Well, of course, we have to try to put our effort for our sanctity. So today I will fall 900 times and tomorrow 899 times and so on. We need to put our effort, yes, but you know that Our Lady is coming to help us. So, in front of this temptation, remember really clearly this prayer that Jesus gave to an elected soul. And this prayer is titled, Love Me as You Are. That prayer is very beautiful. And it says, if you wait to be saint to love me, you will never love me. And I want to add, if you want to wait to become perfect to do this consecration, you will never get consecrated. So Our Lady wants to give you all the help you need to do this consecration and to help you in your sanity journey. So you collaborate, you help Mary, and you will see that everything will become beautiful. So the second type of temptation, and this regards more the juvenile world, the temptation is that, well, look, that if you get consecrated to Our Lady, then after that you won't be free anymore. And this is a very big problem nowadays because many Christians do not comprehend that the Christian morality it is not a rule morality. It is not a morality that is based on a code to follow. It is a morality that is based on love. So, let's say, when I love a person, I try to do everything not to offend that person, not to do bad to that person. And it is the same thing with God. So, the more I love God, the more I will try to do everything for Him and nothing bad against Him. So the Christian morality is like a very big road with 6 lanes. And it is based on love. So you love the more that you can and run as you can. Run in love. Of course, as in all roads, there are some curves. And if you don't pay attention to them, you will get off the road. So God in those curves put the 10 commandments so that you cannot get off the road. Alzalo un po'. So you have to understand that this love has also some limitations. Because if you don't pay attention to it, then you can get off the road. So, I go to Mass at Sunday, not because I have to, because I want. And why do I want to do it? For love. And this means that if one Sunday I don't want to go to Mass, I go anyway, because I will make an example. Let's say that a good woman, a good mother, after 8 hours of work at job, sometimes she doesn't want to prepare a meal for her family, but anyway, she does it. And why? For love of the husband, of the children. So, what is love? The true love. True love is sacrifice. And it's there that you can see if a love is true or not. Because if you put it sacrifice, there is true love. So this is not slavery. Evil is slavery, but love is not. Indeed, you can also see it in the world. Sometimes you see some people who cannot stop smoking or drinking, and what do you say? That man is a slave of alcohol or a slave of smoking. Have you ever heard, like, that man is a slave of prayer? No, not because good does not create slavery. Evil creates slavery. So, indeed, Saint John in the Gospel says, who commits the sin is slave of the sin. Instead, John again says, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And what is the truth? Jesus Christ. And also, what is the truth? The ability to dominate evil. So in that day of the consecration, offer to God everything you have, everything you are. And you will see that Our Lady will give you back all this offering 100 times more in some time, with the aim of serving Jesus Christ. And you will be free, free of evil. There's also a third type of temptation. It's very rare, but I permit me to tell you anyway. So before, the day before the consecration, you need to be in grace, so you will go to confess. This is very important. So, it can happen that during the confession, you will hear, what? What are you going to do? You're going to consecrate yourself to Our Lady? Well, this is not possible because we need to consecrate ourselves only to God, because He is the most important. Well, dear friends, this happened quite a few times. And if you hear that the consecration to Our Lady is meaningless, well, dear friends, you can say in that case, well, excuse me. If consecrating ourselves to Our Lady is meaningless, so why Our Lady is asking us this? And if you also can, try to talk about Fatima. And if it doesn't work, also talk about Saint John Paul II, because he was consecrated to Our Lady since he was 22, and he also consecrated the entire world to her Immaculate Heart twice. And still, if it doesn't work, talk about Pope Francis and say, why did Pope Francis consecrate Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary the 25th of March 2022? And then, of course, if it doesn't work still, well, change the confessional. So I just told you this because it could happen. And then there's also the temptation of the exact day of consecration. So on Pentecost, if, let's say, you go to bed very well, you're healthy, but the day after, maybe you're sick. It can happen. And if you look at the watch, you will see that 12:30 everything will be finished, because it's always like this. You're sick, the time that you have to do the consecration, and after that you're well again. So if this happens, just know that this is a temptation from evil, and evil will try to stop you to do the consecration. And also, let's not forget that there's also the day after temptation. So the temptation that will come after you get consecrated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And this is the fear of the Christian testimony. I don't talk because I don't want to be excluded, because I fear the judgment of people and stuff like that. This is very bad, because faith needs to be testimonied. Maybe even with silence, even with not doing the same bad things that other people are doing, maybe not laughing to very bad jokes, but we don't have to fear testimony. We need to win this temptation, because this is the sneakiest temptation that evil does on us. If we don't testimony, we cannot be means of salvation for someone else. To win all these temptations, there's only one way, and this is living the consecration. So living a true devotion to Our Lady, because remember, there is a true devotion and a false devotion to Our Lady. The true devotion is an interior devotion. It starts from our heart. I don't get consecrated because someone else asked me. I consecrate myself because I feel that I've been called to do it, and I want to respond to this call. We have to love with our heart, not with chitty chats. This consecration needs to be a filial consecration. It means that we need to be like children. We need to follow Our Lady as children follow their mother. And why? Have you ever seen two kids having a fight between them? Usually when they have a fight between them, the one who's losing says, I will tell my father, I will tell my mother. So what I mean is that a kid do not trust himself, he trusts his own parents. I will tell my mother, I will tell my father. He entrusts his parents. The same thing is for the children of God. So we don't have to have so much trust on us, but on God. We need to trust God. We need to have faith. So if we don't become like children, we won't enter heaven, the reign of God. So permit me to say, let's grab this, permit me to say, the skirt of Our Lady, because we have to follow her. We need to trust her. Even if she brings us into a forest, we need to follow her and to trust her. And I will tell you one experience that I had. So I was with a friend and I had to go to Germany. I was in Baviera and I had to reach a little town. And Google Maps told us to go inside a forest. And it was a bit strange because we didn't actually have to go through a forest. And I was thinking like, well, Google Maps, I didn't tell you to go to grab some mushrooms in the forest. But actually, after we went through the forest, after this very, very long forest, we found a village. And this is how Our Lady just grabbed us and brought us to that village. We had just to trust her, basically. So even if you have a difficult road to follow, just follow her, follow Our Lady. And remember, if there's not the battle between good and between evil inside us, we are not real devoted to Mary. And also, this devotion needs to be constant. See, there are two categories of devoted people. First category, when everything goes well, oh God, oh Lord, how great you are. And the second category is when things go wrong. I light the candle, I pray Padre Pio, I pray Our Lady, and stuff like that. So these two categories of devoted people are very diffused. And these two categories are not constant because the first one just pray when things go wrong, when things go right, and the second one when things just go wrong. Instead, us, we have to pray in every situation, in the good situation and also in the bad situation. Indeed, Our Lady said that our consecration is a pact, is a love pact. It's like a wedding, and we have to trust her always. And in the end, our devotion to Our Lady need to be without interest. This means that I have to pray without expecting to have this grace, that grace. We just need to follow her and entrust in her. So the goal of the consecration is not my request, but is her request. Her request of helping her to save all the souls of this world, to help her for the triumph of her Immaculate Heart. So this is the consecration without putting my personal interest in it. Of course we ask. We always ask because to a mother you ask. But the aim is not my request, I repeat it, is her request. I consecrate myself to you, Our Lady, because I love you, because you know everything about me. This is the consecration without interest. So everything that will happen in my life, personal life, national life, international life, just remember to grab two columns, the Holy Eucharist and Our Lady, the Immaculate, has the prophetic trim of the two columns of Saint John Bosco. So one night he dreamt about the future of the church. He saw the church as a little boat in a sea. There was a really bad weather, and there was water everywhere in the boat. And around this boat there were so many enemy boats, very strong, that were waiting for the right moment to destroy that little boat. So that little boat was led by a bishop dressed in white collar, and this bishop brought the boat to the salvation, linking that boat to two columns, and on top of these two columns there were the Holy Eucharist, and on the other side, on the other column, there was the Immaculate. And when this bishop dressed in white reached to do this, as soon as possible, the sea was already calm. What does this dream mean? The boat of the Church, that nowadays is in a big crisis, because the Church nowadays is in a crisis of every kind. But in any case, this Church will never go to the bottom of the sea. In this period, there's this temptation of saving ourselves, go away from this floating boat and saving ourselves. But what do we have actually to do? We have to stay on the boat. In any situation, even in the worst situation, and staying there, you know that this boat won't go down to the bottom of the sea. And you already know this from that sentence of the Gospel, when Jesus, during a bad weather, and he was on the boat, he said to his apostle, "Man of little faith, do you think that I will let this boat go to the bottom of the sea?" This is not possible. Jesus won't permit this. And since the boat of the Church is led by God, don't worry. It will come the day in which God will say, "That's enough." And this time is not far away. So I repeat myself, even in difficult situations, you stay on that boat and link your existence to the Holy Eucharist and to the Immaculate. If we are going to do this, we are going to save us, and we will assist to the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and we will assist to it victoriously. So, dear friends, with this, we finished our 5 catecheses for the consecration. I will remind you that there is a 6th catechesis after the consecration, so the Saturday after the ceremony of consecration, I think the 11th of June, and this will be online. So I really encourage you to hear to that, to watch the video, even after you get consecrated. Because in any case, you're gonna hear something interesting. Oh well, I hope so. And in any case, just do it because it is part of the preparation. So now I have to give you some indication for the day of the consecration. So spiritually speaking, come to that place after a confession. So I really, really recommend you to be in the grace of God. And please don't intend to confess yourself the exact day, because it's always like this. The exact morning, there are too many people who want to get confessed. So confess some days before. Also, that day won't be present the Holy Celebration. So, if you want to go to Mass, please go the day before or in the early morning in the same day, because here you won't find the Holy Mass. So the program of that day. In the morning you have the ceremony of consecration and it will start at 10:30. But pay attention. You need to be here at least 1 hour before. Try to be already here at least 1 hour before, because we have to verify your subscription. You need to wear the light blue band on your chest. Then around 10:10 we will start the long procession, and then at 10:30 we will start the ceremony. So in the ceremony we will start with the Holy Rosary, with a meditation. After that we're going to have another sum up meditation, then litany, then there will be the exposition of the Holy Sacrament, then we're going to have some silent meditation and adoration, and after that we are going to have the act of consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. We are going to read all together a prayer that we are going to give you. However, I firmly suggest you to read it before coming here. You find it in the book at page 228. So that day you're going to know already what we are going to say. And this is a prayer that Padre Pio was using for the consecration to the Immaculate. After that, you're gonna be receiving some medals. So everything will be from 10:30 to 12:30. At 3 p.m. instead, the Way of the Cross will start, and we are going to finish at around 5 p.m. and then we are going home. So this is the program of that day. So the address. The address is Schio, via Tombon 14. Tombon like a big tomb. Anyway. Yes, so Schio Tombon 14. So when you're going to arrive there, you're gonna find the service people, so they are going to help you to park your car. And in any case, even if you park a bit far away from the place of the consecration, do not worry, because there are some buses that are going to bring you to the place. You can bring with you some other people. The consecrated people will have a reserved place. the other people will have maybe some other seats in other places to follow the ceremony if there are no places right there. For the people who are going to follow the ceremony online, you already know the program with the adding that from 10 a.m. you can also watch a video of the history of Schio. And then after that, from 10:30, you're gonna be connected with us and you can follow the ceremony. And you can follow in the same channels where you followed everything. Regina dell'Amore Web TV, Tele Radio Kolbe. Perfect, what else? Let me read my notes so that I cannot miss anything. Something that I have to tell you is not that I really like it, but I need to tell you. So you know that there are some hygienic sanitary normatives, so you don't need to keep the distance, but you need to bring and use masks. Pay attention, who decides last minute that he doesn't want to do the consecration? Nor in presence, neither online. Please communicate it, because we register only the people who will get consecrated. So please just communicate it. And please, not messages, just send an email to Lady Anna. The same for people who decide to come in presence to do the consecration and last minute decide to do it online. So please, in these two cases, communicate it by email to Lady Anna. The email is always the same. ufficio.movimento@reginadellamore.it. That's it. I think I told you everything. I really thank you for your hearing. I hope to see you in these places blessed by Our Lady. In any case, I will see you the day of Pentecost and also for the sixth catechesis after that. Also, I forgot to say that for the people who follow the ceremony online, but they actually cannot follow it the exact day of Pentecost, we will give you also the possibility to follow it even the next day. So I know I gave you so many instructions. But in this way you can follow everything perfectly. So now I say goodbye to you and I will wait for you here in these places with all my heart. And see you, God wishing, for the next catechesis. Thank you all. Blessed be Jesus Christ.